Do you find your bookshelf boring? So in today's How to Slice, we're going to be checking out some awesome book nooks. So let's go. So in this How to Slice video, we're going to be checking out the Mimic book nook. As you can see, this is a really crazy model. This is really nice to put in between your books, and it gives us an aspect of the mimic coming out of a book. It looks really nice for your bookshelf. So as you can see, I just opened the project up over here in Prusa Slicer, and both of the models fit perfectly by millimeters in the bed table. So as you can see, this is a conventional 220 by 220 millimeters build plate, and you can print them in just one go. So let's see the best configurations to print this model. First off, this model does not need any support. As you can see, it's optimized for printing. So all the angles over here do not need any support because they can be printed perfectly fine with the printer you have. It can do the overhangs, so you don't have to worry about that. So as you can see, this project is gonna take a lot of time to print because it's a really big model and it's gonna take some time. So I'm gonna be showing you a nice way printing this project faster. So what we're gonna do is print the box at a different layer height than this model over here, because this model needs to be it needs more quality of print, and the box does not need that much quality because it's just a box. It's the back part. It's gonna be at most times covered. So this model needs to have a little bit more quality. So let me show you a really nice tip to print to reduce the layer height of just one model and increase the other layer height. Okay, so we're gonna be selecting Mimic book front over here, going to layer and perimeter. As you can see, layer height of the Mimic book, we're gonna be just increasing a bit to 0.22 millimeters, so it's gonna print faster. This is really nice because as this is a really big model, it needs quality. But as you can see, by increasing a little bit of the layer height to this model, it's gonna print quicker. As this is a really big model, we're not gonna be able to see those tiny lines. So 0.22 millimeters is enough. And to gain a little bit more time and reduce the printing time is by going to the back over here, and right here in layers and perimeters, at this value we're going to be increasing to 0.24 millimeters. 0.02 millimeter difference. It's going to provoke a really subtle, but it will reduce the time of printing. Let's take a look at other tips to print this model. So over here in layers and perimeters, you do not have to change anything because we already did to the specific models. So you don't have to change this, neither this. By going to infill, we're going to be increasing to 10% infill. This is enough to have a really nice part. As this is a decoration model, it doesn't need to be that robust. Over in fill pattern, you can leave it at gyroid. Gyroid is a really nice infill pattern. In skirt and brim, we do not need any brim because as this has a good bed adhesion to the table, it's got a really big contact point to the build plate. So we do not need any brim. A brim is used to when you have tiny parts that on the surface of the build plate and it may tip over, but in our case we got a big area of contact, so we do not need any brim. Over here in support material, we do not need to generate support material because this model is optimized for printing, so we don't have to do that. As for speed, you can leave the speed at your default print settings for your printer because this is a really big model. It does not have tiny parts. We don't have to manually slow down the printer because you can print perfectly fine without any mistakes. So we're back with the plate over here. Let's just slice and see how much time it's gonna take. So I just sliced, and as you can see, we got an error. A toolpath outside the print area was detected. As you can see, what's giving this issue is the skirt loops over here. So if you turn off skirt loops, you're not gonna have this error too. So let's do that. So as you can see, I removed skirt loops and we're not getting any error. So it's gonna take 1 day and 23 hours and it's gonna turn into a really nice print. Let's see for the colored version. So I just opened the multicolored versions over here in Bamboo Studio. As you can see, we got a warning, prime tower is too close to others, collision may occur. So what you can do is by selecting the prime tower, you can move the prime tower and choose a really nice location. The most common locations to put your prime tower is the far left over here. So it looks really nice over here, as you can see. For this model, you can print in separate plates just because of the color changes. You can be printing in, actually you could be printing both of them in the same plate. This will make sure it's going to waste less filament, because when it's going to do the color changing filament, it's going to have to do a prime tower and purge the filament. If you put both of the models in one plate, you're going to save filament to print the base. So for the base over here, the back part, we will not need to waste in a tower and the purge, but it's gonna take a lot of time to print. But you can be printing both models at this plate over here. So I'm gonna be doing that. So as you can see, I just moved the models to the same build plate. So for the color transitions for this mimic model over here, you're not gonna have to waste any filament change for the back part, because you're already gonna have to change for the mimic part. Over here in the prime tower, I selected to be over here in the far right, just so it doesn't conflict with the models. So as you can see, this orientation is perfectly fine. It do not need any support, as I said before. So let's see a really nice tip to reduce filament waste. What you can do is by going to others, flush into object infill, you can select this. So it's gonna waste less filament on purging, because it's gonna deposit some type in the filament transition. It's gonna inject that filament transition that would be wasted into your print. Something else you can do is reduce the sparse infill density to 10% and select gyroid. And another tip to reduce filament waste is by going to flushing volumes over here and reducing to 0.8. So as you can see, if it's going from the green filament to green filament, it's not going to waste anything. But as you can see, let's see, by going for the fourth 2 over here, by going to 4, the 2 from the purple to orange is going to waste 598 millimeter cube. And this is because it's harder to go from the purple to orange, because your printer needs to make sure that all the purple is it's all out of your extruder, so we can bring the orange without mixing those two colors. So as you can see, it would take 598 millimeter cube. If you reduce the multiplier to 0.8, you're going to be reducing to 478. That's a really you're going to be reducing in 20% of filament purging. So this is really nice. So you're ready to slice and print. I hope you enjoyed these nice tips. So the model is ready to print. Make sure you check all of our models in stlflix.com, and happy printing. Bye-bye.
I hope you guys enjoy it. Those slicing videos are an initiative from STL Academy, which is the educational project from STLFlix. So if you guys want to learn more about 3D printing, you could check our description and look at STL Academy courses. And don't forget, see you guys at the next slicing.